congratulations. Good job, Asya. All right, next to her is Ibrahim, he's my brother. He has also won the knockout debate. So, good job. Okay, cool. All right, so we found them. Okay, then just another reminder to the audience, you are not allowed to clap in between the sessions because that's distracting to the debaters. If you need to leave at some point, can you please make sure that you do it in one of the in-between moments, not when someone is actually speaking. Yeah, and just hold applause in between, okay? I'll let you clap when I announce both of you.
Let me clarify. So usually in debates, we don't clap. What we do is we...
That Oxford did, so that's what we're going to use. Are you good? Okay. So we can now begin. This is the high school finals debate. That's ICM High School versus Muna High School 1.
Mashallah, welcome everyone to this debate, and thank you debaters for being our finalists from last week. The topic before the House today is that America has a responsibility to stop unjust governments. Everyone has an opinion on it, and let's see what each guys do in persuading us forward with the topic. On the right, we have ICM. On the left, we have Una. ICM, the girls with the red jobs are proposing the topic, and the ones on the left are opposing the topic. I now call upon the first speaker. I would like your names. First speaker, Abbas. You're here. Perfect, guys. Perfect.
Honored judges, respected guests, and worthy opponents, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asma Abbas, and I am the first speaker for the proposition side. The proposal before the House is America has a responsibility to stop unjust government. As the proposition, my team strongly agrees with this proposal, and today we will prove to you as to why you should feel the same. I'd like to start off by defining the topic. We define the proposal as American government plus citizens have a responsibility to provide political, military, and economic assistance to nations suffering from reactions of an unjust as an oppressive government, threatening justice everywhere. Other nations suffering is a threat to us. We also have a moral and Islamic obligation to help those in need, help those that are suffering, help those that are oppressed. My third point is that people need help and we have the resources to do so. Why wouldn't we? What else are we doing with, our military? My next point is that it'll help us build allies. And my last point is that when we improve other countries, we open the doors to improving ourselves and encouraging others to do the same. Now, Judge, I've given you 5 good reasons as to why this proposal should pass. Am I right?
Things, and the reasons is because leading to our first point, which is imperialism, which is modern imperialism, okay? We are destroying the Middle East. Slaughtering civilians in the past few years has accumulated 200,000 civilians being killed. We are not just stopping the government, and we are killing civilians as well. We are going to these countries, and we go under the impression of we are benefiting this country. We are going to help this country.
respected guests and worthy opponents. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nuh Nadeem, and I am the second speaker for the proposition side. The proposal before the House is that America has a responsibility to stop unjust governments. And as the proposition, we strongly agree with this and we'll prove to you why this proposal should pass. I want to start by refuting the other team's points, which my third speaker will further elaborate on. The opposition mentioned that we are fighting against injustice, but it's not enough. We are not doing enough. People are suffering around the world, and we are not doing enough to help them. If we stand by while they are suffering, what does that say about us? They also mentioned how it only benefits America, but that's simply not true. It benefits America, but it also benefits other people because we are helping them while they are suffering from what their own government is doing. The opposition also mentioned how we end up hurting civilians, or when we go try to help them, we end up hurting them more than we try to help.
Do you believe that the interests of the United States of America are directly aligned with ideas of justice for all people around the world?
We didn't just mention the government in our definition, we also mentioned the civilians. The civilians believe in justice, and we know that. The opposition also mentioned how we end up hurting civilians when we try to go and help their countries, but things can change. We don't just help through military intervention. We also help by taking in refugees. Like I mentioned, the civilians in our countries civilians in America can open up their homes to refugees. We can help them through that as well. I'm going to move on to my own points now. We have strength in numbers. Even if we are the only nation to stand up against injustice, it will be a show of strength to other nations. It encourages them to stand up as well. We won't be alone in it. We are able to do so, therefore we should. I'm going to elaborate on my teammate points now. As my teammate first speaker stated, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, as Martin Luther King said. We are all human. If we see another suffering and we do nothing, as I stated before, what does that say about us? Nothing good, that's for sure. Her next point was that we have a moral and Islamic obligation to help others. Helping others is what defines human morality. It's what defines our responsibility to help them politically, according to the Truman Doctrine, which states that we should provide military, political, and economic assistance to democratic nations facing unjust or authoritarian governments. It's in our own laws. Helping countries that are facing unjust governments will also help us build allies, because helping others is what helps yourselves. Helping other countries will allow us the chance to gain allies and strengthen our own country, like through trade. Can't exactly trade with countries that are at war, can we? So by helping them, we can strengthen our own country. And therefore, America has a responsibility to stop unjust governments if we want to strengthen ourselves. And also, people who are suffering who need help, and we have the ability to do so, as I've stated before. Therefore, for all these reasons that I have stated, and that my teammate has also stated, that our third speaker will further elaborate on, this proposal should pass, and the judges should vote for the proposition side.
We aren't doing enough, that there are people suffering out there in the world. But why are they suffering? So many of those people are suffering because of us. So many parents lifting their dead children off the floor from a bomb that we dropped on their house. So we are doing immense damage. That is undeniable. And that is because the US has policed the world for long enough in the name of justice. And we also look to government power versus civilian power. Now, our opponents have tried to shield themselves with this idea that the US citizens also share in this responsibility. But what every day?
Okay, we have the final speaker for the debate, Sergeant You're here.
proposition side. The proposal before the House is, America has a responsibility to stop unjust government. And as the proposition, my team and I strongly agree with this proposal. My teammates have already listed reasons as to why this proposal should pass. Before I restate those, I would like to start off with quotations. The opposition has stated that America will enact the justice and we will cause more harm. However, that can change. We have hope for the future, and with the people and with our pure intentions, we can create change for the future. The sins of the past are not the seeds of the future. We can learn from our mistakes and we can create change based off of them. Another point they have made is that we are destroying other countries, and as I said before, we can create change. Yes, we should learn from the past, and we can look at that as a way to change for the future. Another point they have made is that we are acting in our own benefit. However, we are gaining a benefit from helping others, and that's one of our points. We are gaining allies, but this benefit is also helping others. By fighting for those who cannot fight for themselves, we are creating change in their lives. We are trying to benefit their lives. And if that benefits us, so be it. And if it doesn't, that is okay. But if there is a benefit, that is also okay. That is one of our points. Another point they have made is that America cannot police the world. However, if we don't stand up, who will? We are also not saying that this responsibility should only fall on the United States. We are welcoming other countries to join us, and if we stand up, that can influence other countries to join us as well. As one of our points was that we will, by standing up, we will influence others, and there are strength in numbers. But if we don't stand up, who will? We should be the change we wish to see in the world. Another point they had made is that America will purge countries, but we are fighting for justice, and we can create change, as I've stated so many times. Another point they had made is that America's policies do not align. However, the people are the future, and we can create change by voting in new people into our government, and by letting the people make decisions. We have ways to create change, and we have ways to make sure that America's policies do align with the interests of other people. We are a democracy, and the people's voice comes first. Another point they had made is that we have created so much damage, but look at what we can prevent. We can prevent so many more atrocities from happening. And isn't the future what we should focus on? If we want to create a better future, we should look at the past and learn from it. That does not mean stop standing up. That does not mean we should be discouraged because of what we have done in the past. We should look at the past as a way to learn. We should look at the past as something to map our future actions on and not do what we have done before. Another point they had made is that the ideas of citizens don't match politicians. However, we are a democracy. We vote in those who represent our ideas and our thoughts. Didn't Trump get impeached? Didn't Trump not get reelected because the people didn't want him in government? That was the point of American democracy. Now, I feel like I've gone on way too long talking about the other team's points, and I would like to reiterate my 2 points. He has stated that America has the responsibility to stop unjust government because injustice everywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And we gave the example of the Cold War and containment and the domino theory. We stopped communism from coming to the United States by stopping it in other countries, by fighting in Vietnam, and by fighting in Korea, and by fighting the Cold War. We enacted on our theory of containment. Another point we have made is that we have the moral and Islamic obligation to help others. Another point is that people need to help, and we have the resources. It can help us build allies, and it is beneficial to us. Improving others is self-improvement as well. It can influence others to do the same so that we share this responsibility with the world. There are strength in numbers, and inactions will allow injustice to continue. If we want a better future, then we need to stand up now. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum.
Bahani from Maryland, Asma Abbas, Maryland, Umar Farouk Khan, Maryland, Khadija Ahmed, Virginia, Nuha Nadeem, Maryland, Sabrin Niamatullah, Zaid Khan. For middle school, it was Muhammad Tariq Ashkar Ali, Azimullah. ICF High School for America.
Yeah.
And the best speaker